Good morning, everyone, and happy Friday. I apologize, you can't really see me very well. The sun is shining bright in my office, which is wonderful, but at the same time, it's casting a huge shadow on me. So I apologize for that. But I wanted to just provide a little bit of an overview of the final course project. And so uh, I have it pulled up here, and it's a Google Doc. So if you have any trouble with the links, I've checked them all, and hopefully they're working. But if you have any trouble, let me know. And so as a reminder, this assignment is due on Friday, December 18th. However, if you do decide to work ahead and want to get it done early, there is some extra credit available for you. And the due date for that, or to earn the extra credit, is Sunday, December 13th. Okay. All right, so to start off, this assignment is worth 100 points, and it really is a way for you to apply everything that you've learned, or a lot of what you've learned in this class, okay? And it's also going to build off of your previous workflow analysis and redesign group assignment. It's pretty similar um, in terms of redesigning workflow, in that you are going to be addressing the implementation of a barcode medication administration record system, which is, in this case, a module that's being added onto the EMR at this critical access hospital. And so I'm not going to read this scenario to you, but please read it thoroughly, and in order to gain an understanding of it. And then below here, this is like pre barcode medication administration. This is considered more of a, pre um, pre system, I would say, more of a manual med pass workflow. Okay, so this is what the nurses are currently doing, okay, prior to BCMAR implementation. So you're going to analyze this workflow first, okay? All right, and so it's in preparation for completing the assignment. Like I just said, you're going to want to familiarize yourself with that current manual medication administration process. There are some hyperlinked articles here for you to review. I would highly encourage you to review these and read these, I should say, read these. And also, if you want to do some own research or some of your own research on BCMAR, that would be helpful as well. Okay, so what's kind of important in terms of this assignment is to really look at how BCMAR works within an EMR system. So thinking about this as being an add-on module and how that might work at this facility. Who are the key project stakeholders involved with a BCMAR implementation? What are the workflows surrounding the technology or the application? So, and then also, what is the impact of BCMAR on patient safety and quality of care? Okay. And then lastly, here you're just gonna, as you move through the assignment, you're gonna wanna review or reread some of the assigned chapters within the Margaret A. textbook. First, workflow and process redesign, some of the information we just covered on change management from this last assignment. And then benefit realization, of course, BCMAR, there is a section in her textbook that covers that application. Stakeholder engagement, SMART goals, and then communication plans. So this final project has 6 distinct sections, or deliverables, I would say. Okay, so the sections include a critique of the current medication administration flowchart, the one that I just showed you above, the identification of opportunities for improvement in that manual or current medication administration flowchart, how you're going to engage stakeholders, addressing benefit realization and developing project goals, redesigned workflow for the use of BCMAR, and then a communication plan. Okay. So the first thing that you're going to do is critique the current or as is medication administration flow chart above. Okay. So I'm not going to read these, but there's 2 questions here that you should address in terms of critiquing that workflow. Next, you're going to identify opportunities for improvement. And those opportunities are identified on page 153 of Margaret A's text. They're also listed here for you. And so I want you to identify a minimum of 3 opportunities that you see within that manual BCMAR um, um, workflow above, right? And then I want you to explain how the new BCMAR application can help resolve those opportunities for improvement. So if you see a bottleneck and you identify that as an opportunity for improvement, how can BCMAR resolve that bottleneck? Okay, so here's a list of them as well as what is on page 153 in Margaret A's text. Okay. Then you're going to develop a plan to engage stakeholders in the system redesign and workflow and for the implementation of the BCMAR system, okay? And so your plan should address all of these elements here. And again, I'm not going to read them, but I will tell you that what I'm going to be looking for is support from either the text, whether that's Margaret A's text or from the Latour Eichenwald textbook, or from your own research. Okay. So if you're, if you're saying, this first question here, how will you make a case for the need to implement BCMAR? You will need to make a case to hospital leadership and the board of directors. How will you gain their buy-in and support for this project? Okay. You should explain how you plan to do that, but then support that with information from the textbook, okay? Or from your own research. What is the kind of best practice around gaining buy-in and support for projects, okay? So I'm going to be looking for you to do that in most of these questions, because it's actually, asking how are you going to do this? And so, we need to follow best practice and guidance, okay? Then you're going to develop a project goal for the implementation of BCMAR based on the SMART concept. So if you remember, we had that group assignment. I believe it was a discussion where you developed several SMART goals. What I will tell you is one of those SMART goals was pretty much based off of this exact same scenario. So go back, take a look at what you and your partner or group did for that goal, okay? Then I want you to read about benefits realization for information systems. And I have some, so on pages 430 and 431 in the Oaks and Waters text, and pages 148 to 150, okay? And that is the Margaret A section of the Oaks and Waters textbook. And so in there, she explained, that benefits realization is a process and typically starts during the ongoing monitoring of a new system and ideally continues through to optimization when the system development lifecycle begins again, right? And so they're not, at that point of benefits realization for BCMAR. However, they need to really consider the gains that they're going to make by implementing BCMAR and consider their return on investment. Okay. So I would like you to kind of predict or forecast how this organization might see the benefits realization in BCMAR implementation. Okay. So you're going to want to identify the outcomes that would need to be seen in order to realize the benefits. All right. All right, and 2 more elements. The next is to actually develop a redesigned workflow for use of BCMAR. And so while your last group assignment was redesigning a workflow for CPOE, while this is, a component of CPOE, BCMAR is, I want it to be different, right? This is very specific to barcode medication administration. So identifying who those stakeholders are, developing a swim lane diagram, um, using appropriate UML symbols in that diagram. I do have a note here. You do not need to include downtime, right? So none of this, if downtime, then revert to this. Obviously, most of the time that's paper process, and I don't want your workflow diagrams to get too messy, okay? The other thing is that I just want to quickly mention that I know some of you had some difficulty using Lucidchart the last time around. I do want to remind you that you do not need to sign up for any free trial of Lucidchart. You should be able to go to Lucidchart and log in via Google using your CSS login credentials. Okay, so make sure you're looking at the Lucidchart account sign up instructions that I have posted here, because you don't need the free trial. As part of being a student at St. Scholastica and we are a Google education facility. And so you have access to Lucidchart account, okay? And so just so you know that that is there, and please take advantage of these instructions to use it. I think that Lucidchart is extremely user-friendly and very intuitive. And so I hope that you're all able to get in there and use that. And then lastly, developing a communication plan, which is very similar to the discussion forum we just got done doing regarding your last workflow redesign. Okay, so with this, again, you're going to develop 8 key messages, and you're going to need to thoroughly address each column of this table, okay? And again, providing a summary and describing the rationale behind each message is also required for this assignment, okay? So some logistical things, make sure that you double space it. It should be in 12-point font, include a title page. Make sure that you include section headings. I would really like you to include these bolded items 1 through 6 as your section headings. This just helps me in grading and also kind of encourages an organized paper, okay? And lastly, don't forget APA formatting. Now, remember, if you're going to cite something out of the Oaks and Waters textbook, remember that they're editors, okay? And that you need to actually cite the author of the chapter, okay? So in my announcement, I think I'll include a sample of an in-text citation for the Oaks and Waters textbook and a reference citation. If you use 2 chapters or 3 chapters, know that you need a reference citation for each chapter, because each chapter is written by a different author, okay? All right, and then remember to also, I really encourage you to synthesize information from the textbooks and your research into the essay to support your responses and your rationale, okay? And then, of course, proofread your report for spelling and grammatical errors. If you have time, know that there's always the Writing Center available to you as well, and they are happy to give you guidance on APA formatting as well, okay? And then lastly, I'll offer one more tidbit of assistance, and that is in regards to APA. If you're just not feeling comfortable with something, do not hesitate to reach out to me. I'm happy to review APA citations and things in advance of you submitting your final paper, okay? All right, I hope you all have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you all back in class on Monday.